Okay, we're live, everybody. Second match of the weekend up coming for all of you. Hi, and welcome to the stream. I'm here with Sekre. We're going to be looking at Canada versus France. How are you doing, Sekre?
Hello, I'm doing great. How about you? Nobody ever asks you how you're doing when you do the intro, so I'm going to ask you, how are you doing?
Sometimes they do, very sometimes, but I am very grateful for you asking. I'm pumped for this match. This is going to be very likely the best match of the weekend, is what I feel at the moment, and I'm very happy I get to cast this one with you, especially moi. Right?
Aww.
So, yeah.
Beautiful.
See? That's some caster romance chemicals popping off right here, innit?
Yeah, we got those chemicals going. But anyways, It's going to be France versus Canada. I think a lot of people think this match is going to be pretty close. I think on the pick'ems that we had, it was a 49-51 split.
Yeah, 49.4 to 50.6 in favor of France by, just
like
1.2%, literally.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly close, and we as casters, we are not really sure either. In the pre-show we had today, I was the one to call Canada to be the likely winner, then I was responded to by JBH and Nelly that no, it will be France. And before we started the show, I quickly asked Sekrai, like literally the first question I asked when he entered the call, hey, who do you think is actually going to take it? And he said Canada as well. So that's 50-50 too. Not entirely sure. Not entirely sure who won the role, but I'm pretty sure it was Canada. Yeah, okay. And we have already gotten started with ban. So Hidden 2, Canada ban. Very logical in my opinion.
It was actually the France ban right here.
Yeah, okay, that's hold on, never mind.
Yes, sir.
France banning Hidden? Maybe.
I think that makes sense. I think Canada's a stronger Hidden team than France, but I don't think any of these teams, apart from really Korea and Hong Kong, are that strong on Hidden anymore. So it's kind of just taken away,
Right, see, and actually, so Canada's going to be banning No Mod 6 and then picking No Mod 2. So skipping out on that convert, and they're going to go straight into specifics. This is what we were talking about a little before we got started with casting. We believe Canada should be the team that scales better in terms of difficult maps in this tournament, and this is a fairly difficult map. Not like the most difficult in the No Mod pool, in my opinion, but definitely a fairly tough one. Has a really weird ending to the map as well. And in that sense, Canada should be a tad bit stronger, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's a bit surprising though that they went for this one as the first pick. This one is kind of a more, I'd say, toss-up pick in terms of if you think you're better than the other team. I think if you're better than the other team, you should probably just go for No Mod 3 and No Mod 4, which are going to be more consistent for you. But this one, you can definitely get some random misses on like the 300 section. So it could kind of go either way, but I say it's Canada favored.
Yeah, it's their pick, so hopefully it's Canada favored indeed. I think a lot of the importance for this match is going to come from the first few maps and the momentum that gets gathered by either of these two teams. That will definitely be very determinant for the remainder of the match as well, I believe. If Canada is able to fetch like 2 or 3 points right from the get-go, they're in a very good spot, I feel like, especially considering that most of these maps are going to be very 50-50, as these two teams have very similar skill sets all across the board.
Yeah, something I'm a bit surprised to see here is that we have Electro coming in for the 3rd spot in France. I usually would think that it would be possibly no life on maps like this, where it gets a bit harder. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes.
Yeah, right. We'll see how Electro does, and for the end of Canada, we have a very typical setup. Fui, Henrik, and Lucky W. Makes a lot of sense. This match is getting started real quick, so good luck and have fun to both teams. Let's see what happens.
Everybody holding combo pretty consistently throughout the intro, except for Unlucky W. Find a breakout about 180 right before the 200 combo mark, so it's going to be a little bit painful. Nobody missing those back and forth, except for T-Tobis on the very end of them. It's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, correct indeed. So that's going to level out quite alright. Actually, a second miss from France is going to provide Canada with a bit more leeway here, as Unlucky W is getting that 200 combo done right about now. France definitely having a significant combo deficit at the moment, which will definitely give Canada a lead of about 80,000 if nobody misses in there, and that doesn't seem to be the case at the moment.
Yeah, this section is relatively easy. There are a few jumps coming in right after the spinner that you could possibly see a few misses on, but nothing really that hard.
Alright, so everybody back at 200 plus.
Yep, those are the jumps. Everybody hits them.
And Fui with the first miss for Canada, the second miss for Canada, I should say. So that's got to give France a bit of a bit of extra ammunition here, and Lucky W is going to miss too. So now France has taken up that leader position again. As you can see, Electro almost missing those streams there. That was a little scary, but Natsuka and Totobis are doing really well so far. Electro does miss now. Not going to be traded either, so Canada might be... No! Double miss for Henrik and Fui, giving it back to France once more.
that part where they both miss is so brutal. It's honestly one of the places that I personally miss a lot because it kind of, the snapping is just feels messed up there. But anyways, we're gonna get into the last hard section of the map. Natsuko does find a miss, and that is pretty meaningful because there is a big 200 combo streams. Titobus finds a miss. Wait.
And Fui did as well, so that's
and
great.
This. It's free.
A miss right before the stream too. It's not gonna matter though. See how weird that ending pattern is. I don't know what Dave did when he mapped this, but yeah, it's gonna be France anyway. Who's taking that point with about 33,000. Well played. A very consistent performance there for most players on the end of France. They have very similar scores, all within the reach of 10,000 points. Whereas on Canada, Fui was struggling just a little bit more compared to all players in the lobby. Just a little bit more. And that was mostly down to the ending, I do believe, as well. If he didn't miss that last note, he would have probably gotten around 940,000. Even though that wouldn't have been enough to take up the lead, but still. Early momentum for France, seemingly. They're going to pick up a breakpoint right from the get-go. And that's very nice for this match.
Yeah, a bit surprising here, but as I did say, I think that map is probably one of the more toss-up picks comparatively to the other Nomads. So we actually do see France coming in for Nomad 3. Something that I expected Canada to kind of start off their match with, but might be being proven wrong here.
Gonna end up JBH and Nell's prediction are gonna end up right in this sense. Looking at what's happening right now, France actually going for the harder normal maps at the moment compared to Canada. I mean, it's true that France is an incredibly strong normal team, and I've praised them throughout the entire tournament for exactly that reason. But I always thought Canada would have a very slight edge of normal on these sorts of maps. Mostly due to the fact that France's players don't really play that often in tournaments anymore, and Canadian players are like they popped up more recently, and they played a few more tournaments than other teams. I mean the French team, I should say. But all right, France still very confident in their normal capacities, and I mean they may be for sure, even though they only just won with like 30,000 points, which is like not a landslide, but. If nobody feels confident in starting with hardcore double time as of yet, then sure, why not?
I think we're having teams default to Nomad a lot more this round, because in the last match we saw from Hong Kong and Korea, I believe almost all the Nomad picks got picked very fast, and that was like the only ones that got picked along with some double times and maybe a hit into two. So maybe it's because the Nomad pool might feel a little bit easier and more natural than the Hard Rock and double time pool. We're seeing teams kind of default to it. Not sure.
Maybe, yeah. I tried to play this map pool a little bit myself, and I must admit that the no mod does indeed feel a tad bit easier than the other mods, even though I'm not really in a position to speak at my current skill level anymore. I haven't really played that much in recent times, so yeah. I can't really fully judge. But here we go, second map of the match. We've seen two misses so far. Fui, actually Yoshi is going to miss right now. We also had a very early miss for Tobus, but France is going to take up the advantage in the early stages of the map yet again.
Yeah, Yoshi Green finding quite a few misses, really a lot of misses. That's not what you would expect on this kind of map this early on. Usually in this map you find the misses coming in onto the second half of the map, not in the first half.
Yeah, that's going to be very bad for Canada if this continues, because the second half will definitely see misses from either side. Electra is going to follow up with a miss of his own for France, so that's going to give Canada a little bit of breathing time. Natsuko is going to follow that up too, so that's actually the window of opportunity to take up the combo. But Yoshi Green missing right before the break there.
There's actually only one FC left, and it's on Henrik. That's kind of surprising that we only have one left. Although Fuhi and Titobus did miss on a little 116 double stream at the very start.
That's a pretty tough one, and it doesn't really matter too much, as you can see the score difference between, let's say, Fuhi and Henrik is only like 4,000 points.
That's like
Too significant. Electro and Yoshi Dream both missing here once again, trading that, so France will stay in a leader position for a little while. Let's see how this will develop in this harder part of the map, though. Very solid play from all players so far. Look at them snap. They haven't missed yet. Wow.
Yeah, okay. Right here is where you can find quite a few misses. Titobus finds that miss on that one snappy one for possibly enough to bring it back to Canada to take the lead.
Maybe.
Sure.
They'll have to hold on. It's very close at the moment. They might need a single more miss from France right now, but
definitely
they're
possible.
looking fairly solid. Fui and Henrik with 1500 combo. The only one's over 1000 so far. Yoshi Green has been picking up this game very nicely as well. And Tatoma's a moment together with Electra, and Canada suddenly takes over that score lead by quite a lot, as you can see. Blue bar appearing. Ooh, and I think that's going to be the factor. They'll ruin it for France with another miss there for Electra. I think that's going to be the final nail in the coffin they'll need on this map. Fui and Henrik doing wonderfully at the moment. Yoshi Green with a few misses there at the end, but I don't think it's enough as the map has already slowed down. And I think Canada will survive this one. Barely.
20,000 points again. And it's going to be a second breakpoint. Breakpoints back in a row.
But maybe Ethereal was right after all. These slightly harder maps favor Canada just a little bit, but it's so slight. A double S there for Henrik, by the way, so you might want to applaud him in chat. We will get to do that as well. A single miss there for Fui. Very nice performance. It could have been a lot more solid if Yoshi Green wasn't like stumbling all across the map at the very start of it. As you can see, score deficit of like 113,000 points compared to his teammates. And if he was able to pull up the same type of performance, which he can, they can certainly play quite as well as Henrik and Fui. That would have been a very big win for Canada, but right now only 20k points.
Yeah, and honestly, with those scores that you saw right there, you can kind of see how these two teams match up. France are more consistent with their three players. They're going to be scoring around the same, all three of them, but it's going to be slightly lower than Fui and Henrik. But the third for Canada is going to be really where you see the difference. It's going to be whether they can play good enough to keep up with Fui and Henrik, or really just like really good at these kind of maps, or if they're not going to be able to keep up and they're going to slightly fall behind. It's going to be a matter of how much difference that's going to be, and that's going to kind of decide the points between these two teams, I feel.
Correct indeed. Yeah, the French team was really good in that map too, so we shouldn't be dissing them at all. We're not doing that. So they had like around 10 misses, most of them as well. And that's really strong compared to what we might expect from some other teams and on these maps also. Exactly, that third play is going to be really important for Canada. They're going to go for hidden right now, which is tricky because neither of these teams have like this. They're both solid hidden roster that could have been available to them, but they're all still pretty strong. Again, really boils down to a coin toss, as most of these mod pools will do.
Yeah, I say hidden one. This map is probably the easier of the hidden picks. It's more natural towards players if they don't really play hidden that much. So it's kind of more of a, can you play the map, then can you play hidden?
Yeah, that's correct too. It's still a little weird with hidden compared to double time. I mean, you don't want to do this with double time, at least only like deny rule or so. But with hidden. Because of the very snappy nature of this map, it might still be a little difficult for people that like don't ever play hidden, but anybody else will be fine for the most part. The thing is though, France not swapping out any members, and Canada only swapping out one as well. Just swapping out Fui with Zakarian there on the top slot.
Definitely what you would expect coming in for this map, but this is the kind of map that Fui could possibly play, so it is a bit surprising not to see him in here. Zakarian does find a really early miss. It's not what you would expect at all.
The map is only going to get harder from here on. Not by a lot, not like as big of a spike as some other map. But wow, team is there for Canada. It's going to give France a nice early lead, as you can see.
Yeah, there's also a miss from Tobis. He's not really finding his rhythm on this. He has a 93% right now. Obviously, it's just the beginning, but it's still really not that great. Electro does find another miss for the side of France, but Natsuko's still holding that FC.
Not anymore, and Tobis is really struggling here with 91%. That's going to fuel Canada to take over the lead here. As you can see, a lucky W Henrik with over 2 in a combo. Zakarian is also struggling, but they don't need to consider Zakarian all too much, as everybody on the end of France seems to be struggling quite a lot. Only Electro with above, oh no, never mind, Natsuko also 98%, but now, oh, he's dropped to 97 as well now.
Yeah,
everybody
has a combo right now. It's just about 50,000 point difference, but nobody has a combo, so it's not really like anyone's building score. Electro does have like 40 more combo than a lucky W, but it's not going to matter that much. somebody needs to hold to be able to get this point lead back, but Electric does find a miss on one of the easier sections. Quite unfortunate.
And the score deficit for France is over 80,000 by now, so they might want to hurry up with their combos here. There's more misses on the end of France every single time. There's a carry, the only one missing for Canada, and it's kind of struggling, but he has a higher accuracy than anybody on France at the moment as well. On the other hand, we have Henrik and Unlucky doing quite nicely here. Henrik especially, he's still at 98.67%. And the misses keep on coming on the end of France, just more often than Canada. Henrik is going to miss now as well, but it doesn't really matter so far.
Yeah, T-Tobis does have a combo, but it's not going to really matter. Unlucky W does have that combo with him, and that's about 200,000 point gap right now. Very close to the end mapping, or the map ending, so I don't think it's going to be able to swing it anytime soon.
Oh, rather like Canada's taking up even more points at the moment, as France missed even more towards the ending part of the map. As you can see, the average score for Canada being around 800,000, whereas France is only just over 700k. So that's going to give a second point to Canada. Not a break point this time, so that's nice. The only S rank here for Henrik.
Yeah, a bit expected to see mostly A ranks on that map, because there is the big stacks, and if you miss one big stack, you're just going to kind of miss so many notes. So, a bit expected to see mostly A's, but nice S.
Yeah, lots of misses, especially for Natsuko and Totoba so far. Like in terms of score, they were all right, but just because they were missing those really big streams every so often, they just had a really high miss count compared to some of the Canadian players. And France has swapped in Boros, so I'm expecting something like Hard Rock or Double Time right now.
Nomad 5 with Boros as well. I could see that being a possibility.
Yeah, maybe.
Double Time 3.
Okay. The Girl in the Byakuya. I watched Paprika not too long ago, so it's nice to see that song here again. This is a convert. There were 2 lower AR double time maps in this map pool, being in circles and this one, and then Doraemon had a really high AR of 9.2.
Yep.
So they're gonna go for the AR 8 one here, which makes sense for France. They have the old school players. Take them with a grain of salt, right? But these people have been in the game for long, and these kind of maps tended to be more popular back in the day, so they have like more experience on them compared to some of the Canadian players. So a double time pick like this would make sense, especially when you consider that the base skill level for both these teams in terms of double time should be fairly equal. Maybe a little in favor of Canada actually, but when you consider that this map is more catered towards France, it makes sense for them to pick it.
Yeah, something that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on is how Zakarian does on this map. He didn't really do the best on that last hidden map, and he's going to have to be going from hidden to double time right over. So I'm going to watch to see how he does on this map here. He's usually really good at these kind of maps where it's a bit tricky, but it's a bit surprising to also not see Fuhi on the side of Canada, because I was thinking that we're going to see Fuhi on every single map pretty much, except for possibly low air or hidden. So I'm going to see how that goes as well.
Another Susu in the Saba map. In the map pool, like last week.
Map pool is really like Susumu and ZTS, it seems.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's because Dave is old. Maybe. Just maybe.
You know, do you think that we're gonna see a Susumu or ZTS song in Grand Finals starting?
I mean, it's kind of the trend, right? So, I think so. We'll ask the map poolers right after the match, right? Because they give us all the information, right? Okay, we've started on the double time pick. As you can see, a few misses here across the board already for Holo Henrik to carry. Oh, I'll take that back. Everybody missing but Henrik here. So he's going to capitalize on a 2 and a combo quite nicely. Left-righting those, and Totoba's going to miss again. Zakarian and Henrik are going to follow it up, and that's going to give it back to France, actually, considering that Henrik missed another time.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised at the amount of misses that we're seeing this early onto the map. Nobody has a combo except for Unlucky W here, and T-Toba is slightly behind that. Not that much though, but it's going to be just swapping the score over and over.
Yeah, honestly, fairly
Hollow
poor
swapped
play
it.
so far for all players. Not really building up any sort of combo. Nobody having like any sort of really significant score right now. Unlucky W and Totobas are trying to right now with their 300 and 400 combos respective, according to the order they are on the screen. And they're trying, but anybody else, especially Boros and Henrik, I feel like seem to be missing quite often. Hollow does have a lower score than Boros of 2, but he's back at 2 in a combo now.
Yeah, this is the part where you usually see the misses coming in on the more sections. Where are they? Right here. Usually you see misses right there. So carrying, holding the combo though. 500 combo, and when everyone else is dropped, that's gonna get the points going nice and up there. Inside of Canada.
Your philosophy about Zakarian was indeed right, as we can see now, leading by about 70,000.
Yeah, he knows that he hit all that and nobody else did, so he's probably feeling really good right now.
Follow with another very uncharacteristic miss here. Another one too. Maybe it's Nurse. Henrik is gonna follow that up though, so it's gotta stop the bleeding a little, but the bleeding starts immediately afterwards. Totobas and Hollow missing once again. Zakarian now missing after more than 600 notes, I'm pretty sure. 700 even. But Canada's already built up his lead.
Yeah, that's honestly about a 80,000 point difference. Totobas does have a bit of a combo here, so gonna be interested to see how long he can hold it, but not that long. As soon as they say he does find the miss for the course.
Yeah, Boros Unlucky W trading some misses here. Unlucky W really struggling there for a bit. Had to like recalibrate his hands or something. Wasn't entirely sure. Henrik is carrying back into it now though, but everybody misses but Totobas at the moment. Maybe Totobas will be able to carry it home, but they'll need more misses on the end of Canada in order to achieve that. And Boros is slowing down their progress quite a lot, considering he missed like 3 times in 10 seconds by now.
Combo left, so I don't think that even if he did hold, he does find a miss there. It wouldn't be enough, because this is the very end of the map right here.
I mean, if Canada had like a lot of team misses and France didn't, that would have maybe helped and worked out, but not anymore, as Boros, Hollow, and Totobas almost right at the ending again. Even though Canada seems to be struggling a little more towards the end of the map, as their score deficit has dropped from 100,000 to 50,000. Still, Canada had enough of a head start to take that point.
Yeah, very surprising, honestly. I thought that was the easiest double time pick coming in, but we do see only one score above 900,000, which is a bit low, but it is enough for the side of Canada to be able to bring it home for that pick. Break point again.
Yeah, it's kind of peculiar to see. How do you feel that the teams are performing so far, actually, Sakurai?
I thought they were performing pretty decently until we saw the hidden map, and then the hidden map, it kind of went a little bit downhill, but I think they're going to bring it back into Nomad with this next pick, and then we're going to see a bit more expected scores than what we would be seeing from these last 2 maps.
Mm-hmm. So Unlucky W seemingly had a mouse disconnect. That's really unfortunate. So maybe that's why it looked like he was recalibrating his catcher, because he just wasn't able to dash because his mouse disconnected. Duh. Luckily, it fixed itself real quick. That would have been catastrophic otherwise. Let's see how Canada will pick the next map, because another breakpoint for them is very nice here, and they've definitely gotten the momentum back in the game. France taking up that very first point, and Canada answering with Frey, so they are seemingly gonna want to continue with that coming into Hard Rock 1.
Yeah, Hard Rock 1, pretty good pick out of Canada. I think we're going to see Henrik and Fuhi obviously coming in. It's going to be possibly third, not sure. This is the kind of map that Fuhi and Henrik will probably FC, and then we're gonna see Boros and maybe Hollow on the side of France. Not sure.
Boros has made his entrance, so maybe both. Maybe we'll see both. Not sure if Natsuko will try and attempt this. Probably not, actually, considering they have Hollow. But yeah, we'll just wait for that last player. The teams have 120 seconds every time a map is picked to get the roster ready and get everybody in the lobby and such. So Electro actually joining here for France. something that either of us expected, perhaps, but maybe you did, maybe I just misunderstood, but he's making an entrance anyway.
Yeah, I'm not too well versed on the side of France roster. I know that Titobus plays a lot of stuff. I know that Boros plays Hard Rock, and I thought that Natsuko would also play Hard Rock, but it seems not. So a little bit surprised, but not super surprised, I should say.
Alright, so we'll see if that works out for them. Canada with the very obvious roster that both of us would have expected them to come with. Zakarian, Henrik Fui, and then we have Electro, Titobus, and Boros playing for France. France needing to pick up a breakpoint soon, because otherwise Canada's just going to run away with the score. And remember, this is for the tournaments, meaning that the loser team will actually be out, and they won't be playing tomorrow either. The winner of this is going to be playing against the winner of Philippines versus the USA, and we'll see that tomorrow. But it's a very important match nonetheless. Both of these matches are, because if you win these, you'll get top 3.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of the goal for all these 4 teams right here is top 3, top 3, top 3. Nobody's really thinking about going further than top 3 because Hong Kong and Korea, gonna have
just
to be
looking a little strong.
Yeah, a little bit inhuman to be able to beat them. But Boros, coming back to the map, does find the first miss at about 160 right before the stream section.
This is where it starts to get a little harder. Electro, the only one playing with Iden, actually. Always looks very mesmerizing. Tobus here with the second miss of carrying.
Yeah. You know, something that I just realized is that Zerkarian's playing Hard Rock. I didn't expect this at all coming into the finals week.
He's upped his game a little bit, I do think. Boros and Zerkarian are going to trade once again, though. So right now, he's being the bottleneck for the team. But Henrik and Fui, you're not going to see a lot of misses from them, I do assume. Henrik's actually going to miss 3 times here. Zerkarian also missing a few times. So Toba's the only one on France to miss. So very slowly, France is going to inch up that score towards the end, it seems. And maybe Zerkarian wasn't the right pick here for Canada, missing again. Big drop from Boros as well.
Yeah, he's going to trade it back just a little bit. Going to need to see at least one more miss from the side of France to be able to bring it back. But Zerkarian does find a huge break as there. So he'll trade along with Henrik. It's not what you want to see on the side of Canada.
And their skepticism at Electro is more unfounded because he's still at a double S right now. So is Fui. Both trying their very hardest to ensure a team win here. Bit of a slow part here. Zerkarian and Henrik will be able to build up the combo quite alright. Zerkarian dropping once again. Really big drops too every single time. Seemingly struggling quite a lot more compared to some of the other players in Lobby. Tobus missing though. And that's going to provide a bit of leeway here for Canada, as you can see. But not enough, it seems. As Zerkarian just can't seem to keep up at all. Single-handedly ensuring that Canada is actually not going to be able to take this point. Henrik and Fui both with over 1 million points, and Zerkarian not even reaching 800,000, which is really unfortunate for Canada here.
Yeah, all they needed was about 140,000 more. It is a bit of a high ask to ask for. Would have needed about a 930,000 point score, which is definitely feasible, but man, Electro with the 1 miss, Fui with the 1 miss at the end as well. Pretty good scores.
Yeah, very nice scores there by Electro and Fui especially, and the rest tried the best, but Zerkarian didn't really feel all too well on this map, it seems. Now France will get to pick again, so we are back at even Stevens, I believe. I mean, France should be more comfortable in their picks, I hope, at least.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we see next here, really. I'm kind of surprised by all these picks so far. Kind of not what I'd expect from the picks going so far. But maybe we could see... I don't know. Really don't know what you could come in with as a pick, because all these maps are kind of... You just don't really feel comfortable on them, I feel. Just kind of play them and see how it goes. But we are going to be seeing Hard Rock 2 from France. Maybe they felt like, okay, Zerkarian didn't do that great. Maybe he plays this one again. Maybe we can get another lower score. We'll see. But they probably feel more consistent overall as a team on Hard Rock, and that's why they're going back to Hard Rock.
Indeed, and I wanted to mention too what is being talked about in chat right now, at least in the lobby. Zerkarian saying that he was barely able to tweak it due to nerfs. I wanted to mention, which I forgot going into that recap today, that Canada does have the less favorable time to play at. It's 8:30 p.m. right now for France, which is a fairly alright time to play at. You will have like the entire day to practice basically, you'll have eaten your dinner, and then you'll get into the match feeling probably quite a lot better than Canada. And with their playtime being like, I'm not entirely sure about the teams of like each individual player, but I'm pretty sure that Zakarian lives in a very early time zone.
Yeah, right now for Zakarian it is, I believe, 11:30 a.m.
Yeah.
For most of the rest of the team, it's on 2:30 p.m. So it's not that late. It's just one of those things where if you have a match in the morning and you're even the slightest scared about waking up, you're gonna not sleep. That's just how it is. And I'm pretty sure most people who play tournaments can attest to that. You just get so nervous trying to sleep, and then you just end up don't sleeping, even though you know that you're gonna wake up anyway. So you're just like kind of beating yourself up for sleeping, but you can't. It's like a loop.
Andrew is going to be sleeping by 8 p.m. tonight, I do assume.
Till 11 p.m. I wish I could sleep at 8 p.m.
Right, if you play swaps here, it seems Canada is going to be swapping out both Unlucky W and Zakarian here. I mean Fui, I'm sorry. Fui is going to swap out for Had, and Zakarian has left the lobby. Somebody else is going to be entering probably, or Zakarian will rejoin.
It's got to be Fui, I think, coming in for a last Hard Rock slot in Canada. He's done pretty well so far, so it would surprise me to see him not play this.
Well, another note, we have France actually swapping out Electro for Natsuko here, despite the fact that Electro was the top dog on the previous pick there for France, on the previous Hard Rock pick, so not entirely sure what their train of thoughts is going into it, but I'm guessing that Natsuko just practice it more.
Both teams are swapping out their best performers from the last map, even though it's the same mod, and these two maps aren't that different from each other, you know. Both Fuhi and Electro, one missed map essentially, right at the very end. So it's a bit surprising to see them both swapped out here.
Giving them champs a little bit of rest here, it seems. Not entirely sure if they can, considering they're halfway through the match. Not even halfway through the match, actually. But, alright, we'll see how it works out. Maybe it'll even out the odds for either team. That's what they're going for. Keeping those pick'ems really exciting. Well, good luck to both the teams. We have nobody playing Hidden anymore due to Electro getting out of that lobby. So we're playing some vanilla Hard Rock today on Hard Rock 2.
Better Hard Rock, that is.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to make any subjective claims here, but vanilla Hard Rock is the better Hard Rock.
Very true. I'll make those claims for you.
Ah, thank you.
Are you a Hidden fan or a vanilla Hard Rock enjoyer? I had to do that just for
you. You know what catches me. Unlucky W with the first miss for Canada, and Enric is going to follow up real soon after. On the other hand, we have France with full combos all across the board, but the map only just started. It's over 4 minutes long, so there's plenty that could happen. Had is going to miss 2 for Canada, and France going to be taken up by a very nice early lead, actually.
Yeah, nobody on the side of Canada has any combos now, which is a bit surprising because this intro isn't that hard. There's usually like one spot where you can miss, but everybody's finding pretty constant misses.
This missing on that triplet.
Yeah, this section is a bit hard to read, but if you're able to play AR10, you should be pretty fine on this.
Bora's going to follow up with another miss. Had is going to trade that, but France has already built up a considerable lead, honestly. Henrik and Totobas are going to trade, and Natsuko is not going to trade with Unlucky W here, with the only full combo left in the lobby. Definitely picking up the reins of Electro here. Honestly, France has built up like an exceptionally big lead this early on into the map already. Like I mentioned at the start that a lot could still happen, but Canada's gonna have to hold on for the lives now, considering that the score difference is over 140,000. It's like Lucky W.
It's gonna get even more. Yeah, it's gonna get even more with that miss right there too. But this map is on the longer side, and it is definitely possible to see kind of a team collapse with France. Although a bit unlikely, it's definitely possible.
I mean, would a team collapse even matter at the moment? Not really. Canada will need like 2 of those at the moment,
like
considering had another
miss. There is 1 miss from Titovis, but it is traded right away from Unlucky W.
Yeah, pretty painful score difference at the moment, considering that these teams should be equal in terms of hard work. And Unlucky W, Henrik, and Natsuko are going to miss. So again, France holding on to that combo advantage, considering that Henrik and Unlucky W are going to miss twice there. And the score difference is over 250,000. Now it's
from France.
Yeah, first time that France is actually giving Canada a tad bit of leeway, but that's gone immediately after, as Unlucky W misses twice there. Had is going to miss 2, and I'm not sure if Canada will be able to make a stand here anymore. It doesn't seem like it.
I don't think there's any realistic chance at this point, unless France just kind of stops playing at this point for this map. And it is kind of surprising. The only thing that kind of goes through my head right now is, why isn't Fuhi playing this? That's my real big question. I'm pretty sure he'd do better than all 3 players of Canada right here on this map in particular right now. So it's a bit kind of questionable to see him not play this, but everybody has their reason.
Maybe he just really needed that bathroom break.
Awesome.
Perhaps that's the case. But that's going to be 1 bathroom break too much for Canada on this map. That's over 300,000 points of difference already. The misses keep on coming in from Canada too. And Lucky W and Had are really struggling on these sections. Natsuko is going to follow up with a miss, but look at Natsuko's score compared to these scores from the people over Canada. It's such a stark difference at the moment. Yeah, we don't really need to consider any of these misses anymore, as the score difference has increased to almost 400,000, and there's absolutely nothing Canada can do at this point anymore. France could literally just stand still in the middle and still win the map, so no issues there.
Yeah, map's going to be closing out on the last sprinters. Everybody on France having over 1 million, which is decent scores, respectable.
Very nice indeed. On the side, Canada barely getting S's there. Henrik at a 98.50% accuracy is the highest of their team, and it's still considerably lower than any of the scores over at France. So, pretty painful there for Canada. It was France's pick though, so we have to give him slack for that. But this kind of a score difference, I did not expect at any of these maps in this map pool between these 2 teams. So. 3-3, Canada's going to be next to pick, and hopefully they're going to pick something that's going to favor them this time around.
Possible we could see a swap to Hidden 3. Not really that sure though, but I think Hidden 3 would probably be the best pick here from Canada. Not that sure. I think swapping it over to something low AR, giving a big swap up, and then bringing in your hidden players would be a good move here.
I would tend to agree, yeah, but maybe they'll go for Nomad instead. That could also be the case. Just going for Armageddon could also make a little bit of sense, but your attacker seems to be the one they're going for. Hidden 3 here.
Good move, I'd say. Picking the Hidden 3 at this point in the match. We saw Abstract and Nagi in the chat saying, "Can we see Hidden 3 please?" So they get their wish.
Not Russia, Italy, so in this match at least we'll get to see a bit of hidden gameplay.
Yeah, I'd say both these teams, while not the strongest on hidden, they're relatively equal in terms of who can play what. I'd say that Zokarian is probably slightly worse than Electro, but Titovis is also really good. So like they all both have 2 players who can do really good on these kind of maps, but the third is going to be what decides it, in my opinion. That train of thought didn't make much sense, but they're decent players.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing that you can do in there. But yeah, they have players who can play this possibly. It's just the third player, in my opinion. See how they can do.
Yeah, the third play on either of these teams can be fairly volatile depending on the map, as we just saw on the hardware pick as well. Kind of having like Unlucky W not being able to perform at all there. And also having like a lot of misses, but yeah. Let's see if it's gonna happen again on this map. I expect not, at least not for Canada. But Tobis has been really nervous throughout the entire match as far as he's been telling us, and going from hard rock to hard rock, that is, to hidden at 8.2 might be a really rough jump for him to make, so I wonder if he's going to be able to do that proper.
I was talking to T-Tobis at the start of the week, though, and he was saying that Hidden 3 probably was his most comfortable hidden map by quite a margin, so hopefully we'll see him do pretty decent on this one compared to Hidden 1. I believe he had almost a B rank on Hidden 1, so...
We're going to watch him pray as we get into 7th map of the game here. 8.2 on Hidden 3. Considerable amounts of misses here already for all players. Wow, nobody able to hold on to any sort of combo. And yeah, this swap from hard rock to hidden is showing.
It's honestly not even the swap at this point. It's just this intro is so brutal and hard that if you FC this, I'd say you're like the best hidden player in the game, you know? But yeah, this map is kind of decided all between the middle part. If you can hold combo in the middle part that's coming up right after this part, then you kind of got it. Starting right now is where you should build your combos. And this is going to be where we see the bulk of the map coming into play.
I mean, it's only a little bit easy this part compared to the start. The start has some really nasty jumpy parts there as well, jump streams, but this is still a little nasty on the spacing sometimes. I mean, these parts are obviously a little bit easier, and it seems like Canada so far is doing a lot better here. Considering the 200 score advantage they're currently rocking with. And lucky W there missing, but Holo and Totobis are going to follow it up right after. And there's some really big score differences in the lobby right now, with Henrik having 429,000 compared to like Holo, for example, at 267.
Honestly, it's all coming from Henrik pretty much. Being able to combo that easier section is really huge, but he does find a miss there. Zerkarian does find a miss. T-Tobis the only one to hold combo through that second harder part. This next about 100 to 150 combo is a bit on the easier end, so you should be building your combo here, but Natsuko and Hollow not really holding it up to support T-Tobis here.
Correct indeed. Canada almost getting back to that 200 combo mark. Tobis already there. Hollow and Natsuko seem to be struggling the most of all people in this lobby by quite a big margin too. Henrik is doing incredibly well on the other hand, and yeah, looking at the map,
really
it's almost over.
Yeah, this part is probably the second hardest part of the map, and he's comboing it really well, which is honestly hats off to him. Very good combo in that harder section of the map. And that's gonna bring it home for the side of Canada. Pretty much his score alone was half of the French team's score. So that's
huge. Maybe like more. Actually, more than.
I think it's actually
not quite more. Not quite more, but really
very
close.
Slightly more, like 5,000 more than half.
Am I misreading? Oh, I am misreading. I think. Or am I? No. It's 1,680,000. So just below half the score. But I mean, plenty, people, plenty. Looking at the score of Henrik compared to the rest of the lobby, that's really all they needed. Big struggle there for like some players over at France, and that was a good pick from Canada.
Yeah, they definitely needed to take that one home. Otherwise, it would have been quite an uphill battle coming into this with the enemy pick down 4-3. Would have been very hard.
We're gonna be playing Neverland here. Hard rock free. LG Mario.
Are you ready to start?
No, not quite actually.
Unlucky. But yeah, we are gonna be
timing it out now. 2 minutes, please.
We are gonna be getting onto this map. This map is a convert uploaded by FD Flory because it didn't get updated in the middle of the week, so we had to make a new set for it. But yeah, this map could go either way as well. I think it is slightly France favored because they are better at these kind of jumpier maps. I think the story of this map is, do we see Fuhi? Pretty much, that's what I'm asking myself.
I mean, Canada should have learned from their lesson here and just go for their best hard rock setup. But Zerkarian already entered the lobby, so... I mean, it's a convert this one, right? So Zerkarian might be a tad bit better on this one, so... maybe that makes a little more sense, but I still believe that they should go and opt for their best hard rock setup, which are seemingly not doing quite yet.
You're going to be seeing No Life coming in on the side of France for the first time in this match, I believe, and that is probably a good choice. I think No Life is known at this point for being really good at the jumpier maps, so it's a good swap in.
Right, so indeed, No Life, Electro, Boros. First time that Satobis is not playing a map here. We'll see some hidden action over at the end of Electro. And Canada is opting for Zakarian, Henrik, Fui. That's fine too. Here we go. That's going to be the 8th map already. See if France is going to be able to pick up another point. And whether they'll be working towards a tiebreaker, because a 5-3 scoreline sounds a little dangerous, even though they can still very much come back from that. There's some early misses here already, by the way, on the end of Canada primarily, so France going to be able to take up a bit of an early lead. No Life is seemingly struggling a little bit with getting into the map. It's his first map played in this lobby too. Zakarian and Electro trading some misses there, and Boros, the only one left with a double S, a 200 plus combo. Henrik and Fui getting close to that 200 as well. But France already built up a little bit of a lead here.
Yeah, you say a little bit of a lead, but that's like, what, 120,000 points already? So that's pretty huge. Boros coming into this with the SS so far. Everybody else is 98%. It's quite a huge difference.
Boros is doing exceptionally well, considering that, for example, Fui had like an A rank before that break too. So that's providing a lot of fuel there for France. Canada, not a 200 combo at all compared to Electra and Boros, who are both at 200 plus already. No Life struggling to get to 200, but Zakarian missed again for Canada. And that lead is increasing quite quickly as well, with Henrik missing. Entire team missed there for both teams, yeah.
But I think
so that's going to level out in favor of France.
Yeah, but that's just enough at this point to be able to say, wow, we got a, what, 230,000 point lead coming in halfway into the map? I think it's probably good enough to say that, hey, we're safe here. We're going to take it easy a little bit, relax our nerves a little bit. Maybe that's the reason why Electro just missed right there, but we never know.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter too much. Zakarian, they're missing once again, and they know that they'll have to see the rest of the map if they want to make any sort of stand here, which already is not really happening with Henrik, Zakarian both missing. Electra's going to follow it up, but No Life and Boros are actually extending that lead even further, even deeper into French territory, as you can see. Fui, the only one, never by me, not being able to pull a combo either, and Canada struggling a lot. And with the double full team miss here once again, France can really just cruise towards the ending by now.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to point out this score from Boros. It's a really good score. He has over 100,000 points than anyone else in the lobby. Just under 100,000 more than his teammate No Life.
So more misses there for a lot of players. Only Fui and Boros holding on, but we didn't even really need to mention it, as you can see. France taking up another really strong points here over Canada. And those hard rock picks didn't really go well for Canada towards the end. Not really what I expected. But fall following the scoreboard, and we only have no more than double time left to play. And I think that the rivalry between the two teams on those two mods is going to be even more exciting than what we saw so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think those are going to be a bit closer than that, but I do also just want to point out again, man, look at that score from Boros. He got 1,015,000. Nobody else got above 900,000. Just put that into perspective real quick.
Yeah, Boros, absolute godlike performance on this map. A bit of a slow start in this match with his first map played, but he's definitely picked up his game, and look at him now.
Yeah, when you look at the leaderboards for those kind of maps, you usually see him with the hard rock score just waiting on like near the top, but not really the top place, because the top place is usually a no mod score.
Exactly. Not today, we're playing Score V2 though, so he's going to have to miss out on that leaderboard spot there, but it's more than enough to guarantee another point for France at least, so he can at least brag about that if he wants to.
Yeah, true.
It's going to be timeouts for Canada.
Yeah, timeout. I think it's a decent time to call the timeout. You kind of want to make sure this next pick is going to be the best pick that you can do. Definitely makes a lot of sense. You're kind of debating between Nomad 1, 4, 5, or DT 1 and 2 at this point.
So they're going to have 4 minutes of time basically to prepare, to discuss whatever they need to discuss and get ready for the upcoming pick they have to make. So in the meantime, we're just going to chill out for a little bit. You can go ahead and have a quick pee break if you want to. Everybody get yourself a drink or something because we'll be waiting for at least like another 2 minutes. So
yeah, nice little break time right about at the 50-minute mark of the match.
Yeah, pretty much halfway if it goes down to tiebreak. It comes down to tiebreak because before those maps will be played, the teams will obviously get a little slower with their picks and a little slower with readying up, and that's going to take up a little bit of extra time. And the tiebreaker will definitely also take up more time. We have Armageddon, so they're going to cut the timer short a little bit, as you can see. That's going to be the hardest, no more specific pick, I would say. I'm not entirely sure if that's very accurate, Andrew. Maybe Sekre?
It depends on how you play and what kind of... how you play as a player. I think, personally, this is one of the easier ones for me. But it could also be harder depending on what you think. I think this is probably the hardest to kill. So, yeah, it could possibly be what and the thing here, Fuhi and Hendrik being really good at these high-end mechanical maps.
Gang Reaper with a normal specific map for the CWC map pool, specifically mapped for this tournament. It seems that Unlucky W had a... Ooh, so his mouse did die indeed, and he's going to have to use his keyboard in order to dash there. That might provide a little rough to get used to again.
Yeah, it's really unlucky to see that happen in the middle of the match, and, well, it fits his name, if anything, Unlucky W.
That's probably the reason why they needed the timeout as well, to have Unlucky W like maybe get a little adjusted to playing again after having to swap out his mouse for the keyboard and just having him play like a few seconds of map. I believe that to be the case. That's fine.
The case, yeah, definitely.
There's a question in chat. What does mouse dash mean? Basically, when playing catch, you have the movement button, so left to right, and then you have a dash button increasing your catch's speed. And a lot of, well, not a lot of people, but like at least a few people, including Unlucky W in this case, they use their mouse button to dash, so increasing the speed of the catcher. But his mouse died, so he can't use his mouse anymore. So he's gonna have to use a different button. That's gonna be on his keyboard. So a little getting used to probably. Here we go. I used to be a Max Dash player way back in the day as well.
You know, I did. I used to be as well. Max Dash. Oh, nice. Yeah, we're gonna be seeing two very early misses from Henrik and Unlucky W. Nothing really enough to decide the match here. Yeah.
Almost sounds like a Pokemon OC for like battling the champion, I would say. Natsuko here with a miss from France. It's a pretty nerve-wracking song, so there could be some uncharacteristic misses every so often. Fairly stable part of the map though, and everybody's doing quite alright. No Life and Henrik are going to trade a miss there.
Yeah, that 116 stream is really brutal, but we are going to see two more misses from inside of Canada. That's going to be huge.
Yeah, only Electro misses from France. Nolan's going to follow it up, and Natsuko is still doing really well there with 400+ combo. The combo advance is now very slightly in the hands of Canada, I do believe. but not quite enough to take up the score at the moment. They're halfway through.
Yeah, one more miss from inside of France, and it could swap back. Be pretty close.
Everybody catching those left rights quite so right. The scoreline is really close at the moment with about a 30,000 points difference. So a single miss for France could give Canada the lead back here, but it's going to be a lucky W that will be missing first. Henrik following it up too, so Canada is falling apart right now. Fui, the only one left with combo. Okay, so Electro missing twice there for France. Seems like Canada has a very slight edge in terms of combo at the moment, but it's not enough once again. Natsuko missing is going to change that though.
Yeah, and this score gap is decreasing very fast. You can see it getting right into the other side.
Is it enough though?
Not be enough. It's going to be really close.
Actually, not quite enough.
The hardest part. If anyone misses, nobody misses. The rest of the map is pretty easy comparatively. So it'd be a bit surprising. So France is going to be able to run away with it right at the end, as you can see, and that's another very important break point for France. After a timeout from Canada, after needing those extra 2 minutes to get this rolling, France taking up the lead for the first time in the entire match at 5-4, and they'll be next to pick as well. This is a very bad spot to be in for Canada. Yeah, that's actually really unlucky.
Yeah, I did not really expect that to happen, honestly. I thought that the rest would go very according to plan for either team up to like the tiebreaker. So a breakpoint this late into the match is going to be devastating for Canada, to say the least. No life with a 2 miss on that map too, by the way. I want to quickly mention that, as somebody else mentioned it in chat. That's a really nice play. I wonder what France has planned for Canada here. I wonder how the OC France channel is doing right now.
Probably getting very excited at this point because they're only 2 points away from getting into that top 4.
I wonder if they have like Canadian casters as well. They could have, so who knows?
I don't think they do.
Seemingly, we're going to be seeing double time 2 here for France, so this is where the more quirky double time maps are starting to come in. Actually, no, never mind me, because we still have Doraemon, which is more of a meta-esque map, even though it's really fast. It's not even 8 or 9, but just 9.2. That's quite fast for us mortals, anyway. I mean, Sakura can do that fine, but I will struggle quite a bit on that. But in circles is the... Come again?
You can do that. I believe in you.
I mean, I used to be I have like a Shiori 1 miss, so technically I could go back to that level and kick some ass, but right now I couldn't do it. I couldn't quite do it. But yeah, in circles, I actually consider it to be a more easy pick for the way I play, so I'm not going to be the greatest judge in this, but it's a bit of a more quirky and slower map in the sense that it's only 8.6. It does have a higher CS though, so that's going to be a bit rougher players that might be used to the like super fast meta compared to this more technical meta, but I think that either team will have players that will suffice more than alright on this map.
Yeah, I agree, and actually in my opinion this is... I'm not sure if this is the correct pick in this situation. It could be. I could be proven wrong here, but I think this is the pick that you could see Canada definitely do decent on. But maybe they just don't have the players to be able to play 10.3 or 10.5 it is on the DT1. So it is a bit questionable in my opinion, but could get proven wrong. Never know until the map's actually done.
We're gonna wait for both these teams get ready.
Yeah, I believe earlier today we saw an FC from Abstract on this map. It was pretty impressive. So maybe we can see another one coming in this match as well.
Don't get us too hyped yet. Abstract is a godlike player, right? I mean, these guys are as well, but Abstract, he's known for doing this kind of stuff. So yeah, FC, really impressive. But we'll see if they'll be able to match up. Alrighty. First was there for Fui, twice there actually, so Canada's gonna have a bit of a score deficit very early on. It's a medium-sized map. It's 2 minutes 33 seconds, so it's not really short, but it's not lengthy either. Developments will happen quite fast though. More misses there for Fui. Not really used to this type of map maybe. No Life is going to follow that for France, so that's going to level out alright. Henrik following that up for Canada. More misses there for Fui too, and now France's bar is increasing at quite a rapid speed, as you can see. Fui really not finding any sort of footing, and Had is going to miss too. The only misses over at the end of France are from No Life, so Boros and Electra are going to be able to capitalize really well in these misses.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a hiccup there, but we see the point difference is already way over 100,000 at this point. They're going to need to be seeing quite a miracle in terms of the amount of misses from France at this point to be able to bring it back.
Yeah, and they really have to pick up their own game too. Had and Fui with more misses, No Life. The only one missing there. Electra actually followed it up. But no combos for Canada to try and build up at all.
Yeah,
France with Boros.
They see the 200,000 gap, and Boros see that little wiggling coming there. He's like, I got this FC, I'm still going. I'm gonna build this point gap even more. Yeah.
He's doing alright over there, and his score is over 200,000 points higher than Fui, so that kind of goes to show what the difference is here. Had missing again for Canada, and they're in a tight spot already. 2/3 into the map, and it doesn't seem that they are actually able to come back anymore. Looking at a score difference of 280,000 points.
It's huge.
Oh my, it doesn't seem that Canada has a shot at this map anymore.
I mean, maybe it's possible we see like 30 misses on the side of France.
Yeah, they'll have to absolutely break down. Fui not picking up his combo at all so far. No Life will miss for France, but it doesn't matter. Trades are more than allowed to happen. France can literally miss twice at this point for full team misses, and they'll be fine. And the map is pretty much over. And France is going to be taken up a match point for sure. There you go. That's a big score gap.
Yeah, that's an FC from Boros right there.
Okay, I was wrong. Abstract and Boros will have to duke it out in a 1v1 sometime. Well played, but Boros.
You know, I didn't want to mention it at first, but Abstract also said in the Twitch chat, "Let's go Boros," right before the map started. So maybe there was some, like, hidden power that Abstract gave to Boros there through the Twitch chat. He's like, "You're gonna FC this. You got this." And he ended up getting the FC.
Now Canada will have to try and come back from this spot. They'll need to win twice, and then win a tiebreaker, and then win tomorrow against either the Philippines or USA. So they have a rough day ahead of them, if anything. There's 3 maps left to be picked, being No Mod 1, No Mod 4, I mean 5, and Double Time 1. What do you see as their way out from here, Andrew? Sakura. Third time I'll treat you to beer.
Oh, nice. We'll take those. But anyways, it's definitely not No Mod 5 in my opinion. No Mod 5, France just puts in No Life, T-Tobis, and Boros, and they just sweep it, honestly. So that's probably going to be the next pick from France. At that point, it's between No Mod 1 and DT1. Honestly, if you have the DT players for 10.5, you pick DT1. But if you don't have those players, you just go for Nomad 1 and hope that they can't really read that low AR on that density of a map. So yeah, Nomad 1 probably the more likely pick, but
Nomad 5.
Yeah, it's not the one I was expecting at all, if I'm being honest.
Me neither, honestly. I was gonna add to that I would fully agree with you, but
Yeah, even Zerkarian's teammate is like, dang, I thought you were gonna pick Nomad 1. But yeah, we do see Nomad 5 coming in here, picking Canada.
yeah, and everybody's surprised at this one. Maybe that was the tactic that Karen was gonna go for, just surprise everybody.
Honestly, maybe.
Yeah, I was expecting No Life immediately entering that lobby. Just calling to play that map, basically. We have Zakarian, Hendrik, and Fui staying into the lobby. They're just trying to account for the stack that'll happen in this map. They're gonna need a third player on the end of France, though. There's
That's
a
not
lucky
a French
W
player.
player.
Maybe they live in Quebec. You never know.
You never know, indeed. Hollow, seemingly filling that third slot for France, and it seems that we're gonna see a spot from Fui as well. Yeah, a lucky W is gonna take up that slot. Let's see if both teams are ready. Seems so. Canada, good luck to them on this one. So yeah, nobody expecting Nomad 5 to be picked here in this situation. See if they're gonna surprise us big time or not. No Zakarian, sadly, we cannot see it. I have absolutely no understanding of what you're trying to do there, Zakarian.
Exactly what he's trying to do. Yeah, we are going to get started right on this map. This map is a bit trickier than some of the other ones. It has a lot of far jumps. One specifically at, I think it's like 160, 170 combo that usually catches people off guard. And the intro is memory with some of the jumps. So we're going to see how these players do on this intro.
Some early misses already for Hollow, Zakarian, and Totobas and No Life too. So Canada has a bit of an early advantage here. Very slight though.
Yeah, Canada came out of the intro quite unscathed, but Unlucky W does find a bit of a random miss towards this section. Quite unlucky, living up to his name. His first hard jump, in my opinion, is coming up very soon. Right there, we see the whole side of Canada along with Hollow missing on that. Very brutal.
More brutality coming in for Canada here with Henrik and Unlucky W missing once again. No Life and Totobas doing really alright so far though. Totobas especially. Overturn the combo. No Life there as well. Zakarian's gonna miss too. He's gonna trade with Hollow, but it's gonna be harder for Canada actually. There's No Life, the only one with a combo across the entire lobby at the moment. Henrik is trying, but he's not quite there. Zakarian and Hollow trading once again. France is not gonna run away with it, but it's definitely a good start.
Yeah, and this is honestly what I expected coming to this map, but No Life does find a miss as soon as I was about to praise him, considering I was going to say, man, it's looking like a No Life show at this point, but Hendrik does have a combo here when nobody else really has that big of combos, so it's going to get a little bit closer. Not that much closer since Totobas and Hollows are a bit higher than Zakarian and Unlucky W's.
So it kind of feels like Henrik's movements are like a little unsure every so often. He's like not entirely sure what the notable drop is, so I hope he's practiced for enough. Anything.
Really tricky, even if you do, because there's just so many.
All Life is going to be missing though, so that's going to provide a little bit of leeway for Canada. They'll need more.
Yeah, they're going to need at least one more miss. One more miss probably will bring it back. I think one miss in this map is worth about 30,000 points if you get the full 200 combo after that. Zakarian does find another miss though, so it's going to get bit of a larger lead on the side of France.
Okay, missing another 2 times, but 2 misses there on the end of France from Holo and No Life. It's going to slow down progress a little bit for France. Another miss there for Turbos and Henrik, and just unlucky W with a combo here. Zakarian needs to pick up their game right now, though. Otherwise, Canada's not going to be able to make that comeback happen. We're 2/3 into the map. Henrik with moments and unlucky W. France now the only ones left with combo, and that's showing. Holos, the Turbos are both going to miss, but Henrik and Zakarian are going to follow that right up. No Life almost scratching 2 into the combo surface right now. And I think Canada made a mistake picking this one.
Yeah, when it comes to these kind of maps, No Life is just so reliable on these, along with Titovis. Titovis has been playing for so long, so he knows exactly how these patterns play for the most part. Can't really compete with the experience of France on this kind of map.
Henrik with a really unfortunate miss times 2 there in these patterns. Either France breaks down right now and Canada FCs the rest of the map, or it's over for their CWC run. They'll have to make do with top 6. And it's looking grim. It's looking grim. Canada with a triple miss there. Only to Tobas with a miss for France. Holo and No Life are doing so incredibly well here, especially No Life. And the misses keep on coming in for Canada. And we have already reached the point, basically, where it's too late for Canada to do anything. It seems that France is going to be taking this one with a very confident win on one of Canada's picks. Definitely a mistaken pick there for Canada. Not what they should have done. And that's going to be 7-4 in favor of France. Congratulations for making it to that top 4 spot.
Yeah, they only have one more match to go for that last top 3 slot. It's going to be the winner of the USA versus Philippines match, beating France probably tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. So it's going to be a great match to watch that one. But congratulations, France, picking up this win against Canada.
Yeah, nicely picked up by France. This felt like Canada was indeed considerably weaker on a lot of these maps. Like the maps that Canada won on were mostly close. One of them was a bit of a blowout, but France had like 3 really big blowouts for the entire match, and that's definitely first dented the confidence of Canada, I do believe. And when they got that break point at the 5th point, that is where everything just kind of went downhill for the entirety of Canada.
As soon as Canada lost their pick after they used the timeout, went downhill from there.
Yeah, exactly. It's the most crucial part of the match, basically, when you're 4-4, when you are doing the timeout and all, you need to pick up that game and you need to try and drive it home. But they weren't able to do that on that first map right after the pick. I mean, right after the break, and that's just kind of where it crashed, all of it. France, though, very good performance today, I do believe, and they're going to be a very strong opponent for either Philippines or the USA tomorrow. You can see the bracket here. Canada is out of the tournament, reaching top 6, doing very nice, and this is the best run ever, and they should be praised for it. And we very much appreciate all of the games from Canada and all of the excitement that they brought to this tournament, so thank you very much. France, though, the only leftover European team, survives another day and they'll be top 4. It's the first time that France has made it so far into the tournament. It's the second time in a row where a European team makes it into top 4. Italy got 4th last year, and France is going to be taking up that spirit of theirs, and they want more. They're going to want more. As you can see, they'll be playing tomorrow against the winner of the upcoming match, which you can see on screen right now, Philippines versus the US of A, which is going to be played at 3 AM UTC. Quite the unhandy time for us Europeans, but everybody else should be watching that game, Philippines USA, 7 hours from now. How are you feeling about that, Sakurai?
That's late. That's all I'll say about how I'm feeling about that. I woke up super early this morning. It's going to be a bit tiresome to be able to make that match, but we'll make it work somehow. But I think it's going to be a great match either way.
I'm looking forward to that. I hope you're going to prove the US spirit is still as strong as always. And I hope that Philippines will have the best round in this tournament too. So far, I had every time I saw Philippines play, I expected them to do it just a little bit better. But they haven't really gotten that super performance in yet. And I really hope that this will be the round that they're going to get that in, because they're going to need it so badly against you guys. And that's all we really have to say. The rest of that story will all be told in the match. So yeah, for now, we're going to be offline for a little bit, as you can see, 7 hours-ish. So if you don't want to miss that match and you're bad at remembering things, then you should definitely follow the channel. Or if you're not bad at remembering things, you can also follow the channel. We'll definitely appreciate you guys doing that. You'll get an email notification whenever we go live, as long as you click the bell icon, which is right next to it. And right next to that, you can also see a subscription button. You can subscribe to the channel. All of that funding will go into the tournament. We'll appreciate it greatly. Also, last weekend, where you can buy banners for teams. Last weekend. So buy yourself a banner if you want it. It'll appear in your profile. It's only $2.50. It'll support the prize pool once again. It's going to look great. And if you correctly predict the winner of the tournament, it'll stay on your profile a little bit longer even. So try and get your predictions right. Try and be smart here. Or support the team that you really want to support, even if you don't feel like they'll win. You can even buy banners from teams that are out of the tournament already. Just do your thing. But, you know, you should check it out. That's all I'm telling you.
I agree.
Radio.
Check it out.
Agree. Full on agree from Sekray. So there's your expert analysis for now. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Sekray, for being here.
Yeah, that's gonna do it for us. See you guys in a few hours.
See you guys in a few hours. It was a nice match, and have a fun day. Bye-bye.